And that wraps up today's trading day. My lord, today's trading day was just about as ridiculous as my mustache, but we did something that I've been waiting for a really, really long time. So I'm just gonna quickly show you guys the screen. There is today, we're up 88 bucks and we're up day trading some 54 bucks, which means we are officially green on, well, we've been green on the challenge, but we haven't been green if we include October, which I don't really want to do because we didn't start the challenge yet in October. So finally, good news there. I am super stoked. We flew above it really, really nicely. We had 3 trades today. We had 2 PIXYs and 1 WAFU. I was already excited to say that. So PIXY and WAFU, we'll talk about those in a little bit. But before I talk about those stocks and why we entered, why we exited, and all that fun stuff, I want to talk about something that I mentioned in the live stream. So very quickly, let me just pull up the little checklist that I had here that I definitely did not want to forget to talk about. All right, so TD Ameritrade is our broker. That's what we're using. It's been going really well with them. And don't worry, I'm not breaking up with TD Ameritrade. I love TD Ameritrade. Here's the thing. We have, and you guys probably already know this, we have part of our account on a margin account, which is driving me a little bit insane for a few reasons, such as I can't really use the funds how I want to use the funds. They're separated. So there's the 3 day trades per 5 business days. And the only problem with that is, let's say I make a trade on Monday, then I make a trade on Wednesday, then I make a trade on Friday. I won't have those trades back till Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week. Also, if I try to maybe average into a position, I can't do that because each one of those trades will take away from that day trade. So there's all these little quirks. And the reason I allocated some of my portfolio to the margin account is because I thought, okay, maybe we'd be shorting a little bit. But you know what? Shorting is really not my go-to strategy whatsoever. Pullbacks and support, number 1, is my main strategy, and then I'm learning the trading the morning breakouts, the gap and go strategy for the first 30 minutes. So that's getting those first pullbacks, those bull flags, things like that, and just getting those big rallies and with the market open. My other account is on a cash account, but it's my Roth IRA cash account, which is a little problematic because we're going to start paying ourselves soon 25% of the profits that we make. We talked about this a while back, but I believe really strongly in cash flows and all that good stuff. So once we start building up a little bit of momentum, so probably starting in February, I want to start paying myself 25% of that month's profit. And that's what I do with my crypto accounts as well. That's what I do with my company Enzlo. We pay ourselves every month. I get I think 50 bucks from YouTube every month. So I like to have all my different businesses pay me every month, even if I want to grow that business. Now, I reinvest almost everything into my businesses, but I do believe in having your cash flows. Then you could start, building your safety nest. Then you can, allocate whatever you want those funds to. And it also gives you a little bit of a reward and incentive system that's a little bit more tangible than just, I remember once Heiko and I grew Enzlo into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was just sitting in our bank accounts, but on our business bank account. And then we started spending all that money, and it's really easy to lose sight of money that you don't really feel, it kind of affects your life. So I changed a few years back my life into like a cash flow system, and it just makes much more sense. So this is where it got interesting today. I opened a new TD Ameritrade account, but this account was not really ready to trade yet. It's called an individual cash account. That's what I'm going to be trading on. And it was kind of funny because I thought I would be ready to go ahead and trade it today. But then I didn't see it in my Thinkorswim account. So I was like, okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. Why is it not there? Apparently you have to activate some advanced settings to make it show up alongside your other accounts inside TD Ameritrade. And that's basically if you just come right up here and you click all accounts, and then you see your different accounts. And the new account was not showing up here just yet. So remember, just hit up TD Ameritrade. They have amazing support, and they will go ahead and make sure all the right settings are in place if you do not find them yourselves, which I didn't even bother looking for, and I just contacted TD Ameritrade. So they said tomorrow it should be popping up here. So we'll have 3 accounts here tomorrow. And then to fund the account, I had some funds unsettled and just some little issues that weren't really a big deal. Anyway, I think by the end of this week, we're going to be fully migrated over to the new individual TD Ameritrade cash account, and I'm super looking forward to that. Not to mention, right now with the margin in the IRA account, I'm always switching between accounts, and then I'm like, where are my limit orders? I don't see them on the screen, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the wrong account. So just all those issues are going to be gone as well. So I'm really, really excited. I probably should have done this in the beginning. I don't know why it didn't really hit me like that, but I guess that's the whole point of the small account challenge, is you get all these little tinks and quirks away as you go. And you don't have to really worry about anything too much, because you're not just throwing in $100,000 and then before you know it, you make a giant mistake. If you make a little mistake, it's not going to hurt you, or it's not going to affect you that much. So in the end, it's just really a bunch of learning, and I'm happy I can share it with you guys. And right before we talk about the charts, just check out the trade journal. You can see October again was that really rough month. It was not part of the challenge, but then we started the challenge in November, and then we really cleared up things. You can see $200 in November. Remember, this is a small account challenge. $140 in December. We kind of gave back a lot of profits during the holidays. And then this month, we are officially profitable. You can see here, the day trading sum gets closer and closer to being positive. And then boom, today, $88 profit. We had two nice little trades. Let me quickly show you guys them right here. Boom, right there. So we had two PIXYs and then one WAFU. Pretty nice overall. Go figure that the losing one is the largest position size, but that's just how it is sometimes. I can't wait to get our position sizes up to about $1,200 per trade again. That was really, really good fun. But I do appreciate just having more trades every day. So I feel like I put a little bit more value in that. And then really cool, let me just show you guys the chart. Here you can see it. We are back over the top. We had to go through this long phase after October where we were like, okay, well, we can't just do a bunch of nonsense holding overnight and stuff like that. Let me have a really strict morning day trading strategy only. And then boom, we are able to grow our account fairly consistently now over 3 months, just doing many trades. And as we grow our account size and we're able to increase our position sizes and hopefully do a little bit more trading as well, this chart should start going a little bit more exponential. So you guys already know how I felt about PIXY and WAFU and all that stuff during the opening bell. So I won't talk about it too much there. If you guys want to watch the live stream, here is the link. I always leave it at the top of this video. In the first 15 minutes, we go over the watch list, and then we trade the market open for about 30 minutes. So around 10 o'clock right here, Eastern Standard Time, we ended the live stream. And I was like, all right, guys, I'm gonna take my little 5-10 minute break. Then I'm gonna start trading in the afternoon. Let's see if we can get some nice supports, some reversals, some dip buys, things like that. And that's exactly what happened today. With PIXY, I mean, PIXY was a tremendous run up. And the thing I like, at 260% gapping up pre-market. And it was one of the top 3 stocks dollar volume wise that we were looking at, $32 million volume. And the next thing that I really, really like about this, not just is it, a huge percentage gainer, one of the biggest dollar volumes, but check out the market cap, 19 million. So this thing could really, really fly. And PIXY was a contract winner. So really, really good news there. And the contract was like valued at $20 million or something like that. And at the time, PIXY was about $7 million. So it was a big contract for PIXY. One other kind of mind-blowing thing is the shares outstanding. It's under 1 million. So this thing naturally is going to be ripping in all directions. I think their float was 400,000 or something ridiculous like that. Quick little recap, we typically trade, or we typically look for small caps with a float between 5 to 10 million, and oftentimes we trade them with about 50 million. So when something has 400,000 float, it's going to be explosive in every direction. So this thing really, really fit the bill. And I was just super stoked to trade it. It was a little out of our ideal price category, but that's fine. I mean, with these kind of stats, with the market cap and the shares outstanding, I mean, that this thing's gonna rip in all directions. So and that's exactly what happened. Out of the gate, I was kind of hoping it would kind of keep gapping, but it was a bit overextended, so this pullback was totally warranted. It did find some big support here in 17, and this would have been probably a good entry. I mean, this run was 50% here, but we missed it. And then I was like, do what I like to do the most, and I check out the 5-minute chart, where would be a good potential entry? Well, you can see here's a shoulder and here's a breakout from the shoulder. If you guys don't know what shoulders are, I talk about them in a lot of my crypto videos as well, but it's basically if you have a big dip down and the price is coming back up, what is the first price limit to the left? And that's what I typically call a shoulder, and I like using shoulders as potential entries and exit points. So here you can see if we just kind of draw a line right around just kind of here through everything, you can see that we dipped under this area, it becomes resistance, we completely fall off a cliff right here, and then the price starts moving back to this area, and this is the first point of big resistance up here, and we touch it, we pull back, and then we break out from this area. So what does price love to do? Price loves to retest these breakout areas, these former resistance, these former support levels, and that's exactly where we had our entry. We got in right around here at 65. This was almost a near perfect entry, and then sold near the top. So this was a pretty cool trade. This is what our best percentage gain trade of the day. I mean, nothing crazy. It was like, what, 5.6 or something like that, but still pretty nice. Now, the second trade, basically the same thesis. We have big support in this area, former support, former resistance, former breakout zone. And then I was like, boom, let's get in it. And, we got in it a little bit too early. The price was pulling back. We were down about, 3-4% at one point. And this thing probably could have kept cracking. I mean, that's what you have to realize. Just because oftentimes, maybe, for me, 80%, I think we talked about in the last video, according to my stats, this pattern works. Sometimes it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, the price could just fall off a cliff. So you have to really, really, really watch out. And you have to cut your losses quickly. That's what we did. We got out. It was a $30 loss, so about 3% loss on this one. And it was a little painful because right after we cut our losses, guess what this thing does? This thing runs up 12%. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So we could have had 3 green trades today. We could have easily ended today with like $200 profit, which is nice because we're only trading with $1,000 per position size. So a profit of $200 is pretty good. That's basically an overall gain of about 20% on the day. Also, really, really interesting on this chart is check it out. It comes back here and guess what it does? It retests this former support line. So, go figure. Let's just quickly check out WAFU, W-A-F-U. Now, this one was running up quite aggressively, and it wasn't on our original gap and go scanner. It was on our secondary momentum scanner that we did about 5 minutes after the market opened. This one was moving up, and I was getting really excited for it. During the live stream, you'll see me. I was trying to trade it or potentially, get an entry right here in the first few minutes. I just never really felt comfortable. We had a nice little opening green volume, and then another one, a quick little pullback here, and I was like, oh, that could have been our chance. That could have been the one. The reason I felt a little sketchy is because, this one had a lot of, attempted breaks to the upside and always gets totally crushed. Not to mention, we're at major resistance at this $4. What I would have liked to see is a break past 4 and then pull back to 4. To me, that would have been a much nicer entry because now we know this thing's breaking higher and, it's going to retest 4. But under 4, ooh, not where I want to be. So we didn't trade any of this. I never want to trade usually when it gets too close to 10 o'clock. I avoided this. But then, I was like, ah, man, again, on the live stream, no trades today. But here, eventually, it cracks 290 with volume. And this is what I was waiting for all day. I missed this first pullback, and I was like, ooh, I hope that was not the only pullback. But I know the 2.5 area is always a significant area. Traders and I guess investors as well love whole numbers. So $2, $3, $5. And then they also like that kind of 50-cent turning point. So like 250. And you can see here, we front run it a little bit. I had my entry at 253. It did dip down a little bit under that. I think it hit 251 and then it bounced nicely. It had about, what, a 7-8% bounce. We only got away with, I think, what, 4-5% on this one. But still, $67, not too shabby at all. I was pretty happy with this little bounce trade right here. And this is where you got to be careful. I mean, we missed about 3% here on the upside. We sold near this high, and then it bounced up again. But guess what? Boom, it crashed totally afterwards. And, you don't want to be on the wrong side of these trades. Especially with support line bounces, you really got to watch out. I mean, sometimes, yeah, the stock goes up 30, 50, 60%. Especially maybe tomorrow, but there's a good chance that this thing will pull back. And if it pulls back, you might be holding a bag forever. So you don't want to get overly aggressive with support line bounces. If this thing goes tomorrow, gaps down, it might be back to 150, it might be back to $1 really, really soon. And I mean, I don't know much about this company fundamentally, but a lot of these small caps end up disappearing, and you don't want your day trade to turn into an investment that you would have never done. So just keep that in mind. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up there. Thanks for tuning in. It was so good seeing everyone in the live stream. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.